Hello everyone, it's me Robert and welcome to a new video. This time I'm going to talk about the ShM-1 Soviet gas mask, and with this video I'm going to start a series of videos where I'm going to talk about different gas masks and their clones. With this one I will start with the ShM family until the present day. So let's talk a bit about the ShM-1 history, how it was manufactured, introduced and so on, and after that I'll talk about the clones. In the late 1930s, close to the starting point of World War II, somewhere between 1938 and 1939, there were trials for adopting a new gas mask for the Soviet army. There was the ShM-1 and the O-11. As you can see in the pictures, they are very similar, but the only and main difference is that the O-11 wasn't a helmet-style gas mask, it used a head harness. The Soviets at that time decided that the ShM-1 would be much easier to use than a gas mask that would have a head harness. So it was accepted and introduced since 1938-1939, and it was issued to the entire Soviet army. Mostly it was used by the infantry, but there were some specific kits for tank crews, airmen and so on. I'm not going to talk that much about kits that included the ShM-1 because, as you can see, I have only the face piece here. I do not own any other accessories like the filters, the bags and so on. What I can tell you is that the ShM-1 used filters like T4, MT4, L3 or MO2. And when it comes to the kits, they are not that different. There are a few items that differ from one to each other, like the bags, the carriers that were used and the filters. But besides that, it would be a standard Soviet gas mask kit with the facepiece, the ShM-1, one of the filters that I just mentioned, a hose that would be attached between the mask and the filter, a decontamination kit, for example the IPP3 and a few others, and anti-fogging lenses or anti-dim pen. The mask itself, the ShM-1, was manufactured until the late 40s, early 50s, when it was replaced by the ShM-41. Now, looking closer to the gas mask, you will see that it's very similar to the future ones like the ShM-41, ShM-41M, and even the most popular one of them, ShM-62, the one called GP5. But there are some noticeable differences. First and the most important, it's the valve assembly. It is different from the previous ones. First of all, it is not with crimped rings. It stays in place by pressure from the rubber around it, and besides that, it is covered around with metal wire and duct tape. Another thing that I can tell about it, I mean, this is, I think, one of the most important parts about the ShM-1, is that the valve boxes were in different colors mostly, like gray, green, I believe, and there was also a very rare one with one made out of aluminium, which is not that common. One of the differences between the ShM-1 and ShM-41 is also the shape of the exhale valve hole. Another interesting part about this one is the stamps are quite different compared to the later Soviet gas masks. You can easily see the size stamp on each cheeks like other Soviet masks, but you won't find the date of production on the facepiece itself. Mine, for example, it's made in 1942, and I could only saw that on the exhale valve rubber part. Another thing is that the lot number, it's not on the cheek as we're used to, it's on the front right here. And the third thing that's specific to this gas mask and is not common in other ShM gas masks is that it doesn't have integrated TISO tubes. What I mean to say is that the TISO tubes are two separate tubes, rubber tubes, that could be found inside and take apart separate from the rubber facepiece itself. You can see that in the following pictures, that there are two separate objects that are not basically part of the face piece, how it would be a normal thing to the future SHM gas masks. Besides that, what I've said previously, there is nothing very different from the other Soviet helmet style gas masks, and now I'll go straight to the clones of this one. Compared to SHM-41M, for example, this had only one official clone, the Hungarian 51M, which I unfortunately don't have because it's not a very common gas mask. I would say it is extremely rare because they have that issue of being destroyed by themselves. They just destroy themselves for some reason. The rubber that was used wasn't that good. And as you can see in this picture that I've got from the internet, to be more precise from Forestman, the main difference between the 51M and the SHM-1 is that it has a very different color of rubber, and besides that they used different paint for the metal parts. It's something like dark gray, I would say, or something like a dark blue, as I can see in the pictures. Besides the 51M, I do not reckon any other copy or clone of the SHM-1. I only know that, and I am not sure about it, is that the Polish army used it, the SHM-1 directly used it at the beginning of the 50s. So I think this is everything I can tell you about the SHM-1, mostly about the face piece. I hope this was helpful and interesting for you. The next videos about SHM-41, SHM-41M and so on will be much longer, more detailed, and with more episodes, because those have plenty of clones that if I would cover in only one video it would take a lot, and maybe it won't be pleasant for you to watch and won't be pleasant for me to edit for sure. So yeah, this is the Soviet SHM-1, the first SHM mask in the series, introduced in early 40s, late 30s, at the beginning of World War II. An interesting fact, and I can really trust this, is that the Soviet soldiers were throwing away the gas mask because chemical agents weren't used in World War II, and they thought it's useless and takes space and it's heavy and didn't help them really. So yeah, if you want to help me share this video, subscribe, all of the stuff. Thank you and bye.